Welcome. This is Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire, and this is the Maverick Do It Different podcast. So excited to be here and to experience what it takes to do it different, to think different, be different, do it different. Every single day is how we create the world around us to be better, more efficient, more effective, and joyful and powerful for all of us to live in. And today I am so excited to bring to the table, to bring to this podcast, somebody who is an associate, a close friend, and somebody that you're going to be so pleased to talk about and to talk with right here, right now. This is Jennie Bellinger. She is a certified professional coach and the host of Badass Direct Sales Mastery podcast, which is just amazing. She works with badass direct sales moms with ADHD, and this is really key, to help them focus on business growth activities so they can be present with their family and with their life. And that's what that's our commonality. We talk about that every day, how to create the best life possible. An entrepreneur since 2010, she understands the desire to contribute to your family's future, be present with them here and now, how to make all that happen with a difficulty in balancing everything and how to prioritize it all. So Jennie has learned the hard way while building several different businesses, raising two kids, navigating a divorce, making all that happen to fulfill that need to provide and be there for her children and her life. Jennie's known as the direct sales dom. Luckily, as a certified professional coach, her methods are effective and yet not painful. Here it is, Jennie Bellinger. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Paul. Thank you so much for having me. Oh, I have so much fun with that intro.
We have fun together every day, and we've been able to hang out both on our podcasts, on just hanging out live. We've actually traveled together around the world. So we've done a lot of different things in our relationship. And so it's great to have you here. And what a pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
Let's
Well, I love being here with you. I mean, we do have a lot of fun.
let's get down into the component of it. So you coach ADHD moms in direct sales, and what makes you different from other direct sales coaches, if you will?
Well, I think it's the fact that number one, I also have ADHD. So I was lucky enough to be diagnosed when I was 23 years old. So that is not common for women of my age. Most of us are not being diagnosed until, I don't know, our 40s, when there's been so much struggle with not understanding why things weren't working. But because of the way ADD was defined back in our youth, we were not considered ADD because we didn't have that physical hyperactivity. But the difference is, and this is how I love explaining it to people, for people with ADHD. So yes, I do still fall under the umbrella of ADHD. It's just my hyperactivity is not physical. It's in here. It's in my head. So my hyperactivity happens in the thought patterns. So I've regularly told neurotypical friends of mine, like, if you could spend 1 hour in my head, you'd be exhausted because of
No, wait a second. Now you sound like my wife. Wait.
oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding. It's
Yeah.
just our hyperactivity shows up in our head. And the way it tends to show up in young girls is then there's like a daydream part of it. Like you will see them all like zoning out because their brain has taken them on a journey that their body is still sitting still. And then the other way it shows up for girls and for women is in excessive talking because we have to get all the thoughts out. And so people who are like, oh my gosh, does she ever stop? No, we don't. But we eventually shut up because we don't want to be judged.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
that's what makes me
I
different.
said that kiddingly, only my wife definitely has all those traits. And it's one of the things that we connected with is because and it's interesting, the experience for men and women, because for me growing up, I am positive I've got some form thereof on the spectrum, because I've never been able to, and we talked about this, I've never been able to sit still. I'm not, you put me in a cubicle for any length of time, I start either going deep dive into just internal emotional challenge, or I get so antsy I've got to leave.
Right.
And with that, how it showed up for me is I just went into outside sales, in which case I was a superstar. I was a strong man to go out there and do that, because, well, that was just a great, go do it. You're
Yeah.
producing, and so it's wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. And what's great is this ADHD is a superpower. It really and truly is a superpower. But the thing about superpowers is that they become your kryptonite when you dial it up too high. And so what I'm doing with my clients, because about 75% of my clients are diagnosed or undiagnosed. I'm a former teacher. I can't diagnose anybody, and yet if you spot it, you got it, right? So I'm able to see when people have that, and whether they're diagnosed or not, I know how to help them focus on what they need to. I help hold them accountable. So I'm not like one of those massive coaches who has like massive coaching groups with 150, 200 people on a call. No, 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 no. I'm there with my clients. I know every single one of them by name. I am taking care of them. I am their coach. So
Really,
they're in small group. The largest group I have goes up to 12, because
yeah.
I'm able to then really focus on those people and focus on them and be able to serve them, because that's my goal, is to be able to serve them and help them reach their goals. And so I think that's, those two things are what make me different and what make me the perfect coach for direct sales moms with ADHD.
Yeah, no question. And it's so amazing that people will gravitate to the biggest names in the industry. And then when I ask them, the people that have actually followed through and gone coaching with them is, well, when was the last time you met them, or you went out to dinner with them, or you had any moments of clarity between the two of you? Does he know your name? And none of the above. Like some of them, oh, I've never met him. Like,
Right.
but you're coaching with them, and they gravitate to that, and then it doesn't serve them. And it
Right.
serves them so powerfully to have someone who locks arms with them and says, we're going the distance.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's so much of what you do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
so appreciate
absolutely.
that. So why, I think it's already obvious with some of it, why do you work with direct sales moms with ADHD?
Because that used to be me.
Yeah, yeah,
I was 7 years in the direct sales industry myself. I've also participated in network marketing companies as an ambassador, so I get how these different business models work. And I have the mindset. I get the industry so hard, even though I am not currently active in any of them, because I never want my clients to ever wonder if I'm trying to recruit them.
what's the,
So,
right, right, major challenge.
yeah.
You're working with so many different direct sales companies through your clients, that to be an advocate for only one is silly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. And I have actually gotten clients from other coaches, trainers, consultants in the industry, because they came over to me when they found out that I don't have an affiliation to any particular company, because
right.
they were like they felt recruited anytime that previous coach talked about their company, or some of them would actually try to actively recruit their from their coaching client pool.
Yeah, I've
And
seen it.
I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to like do any of that, because it doesn't serve them. It doesn't serve me.
No.
But that's what makes me different. That I have the background in the industry, and I stay up on all of the trends in the industry by attending conventions, both virtual and in person, now that they're going back to in person, so I can see what's going on. I go as a guest to a lot of these conventions, to see what they're being trained on. My clients get to invite me a
Yeah, of
guest to
course.
see what's going on, because then I can support them because I know what their company is saying to do. Because I never want to push back and say, "Oh no, don't do what your company says to do. Let's find a way to make it work for you."
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And so having that outside direction, so often one of the biggest challenges that I see in network marketing, and give me your feedback on this, is that they'll get into network marketing, direct sales, and they'll get into an organization and they're told, oh, you don't need anybody else or anything else. All you need is to rely on your upline.
Mhm.
Well, I got to tell you, I've been in network marketing, direct sales since 1987, and the magnitude of quality upline that I've had in the dozen different companies I've been involved in is next to none. There's been a fractional piece of quality people for me to lean into. And
Yeah.
so your thoughts on that?
Uh, the great thing about direct sales and network marketing is the flexibility. One of the downsides is that you're at the mercy of who brings you into the business. So whatever their level of expertise is, what they know, they're just going to train you what they're being trained to do, which in some cases is great. I mean, I was very lucky for the 7 years that I was with the company that I was with, where I achieved, I mean, number one in the world in group growth. Number one in the world. Um, I was lucky enough to have an amazing mentor. She was my direct upline. She was the number one in the company for personal. She was number one in the company for personal recruiting, personal sales all the time. And she was a great developer of leaders. But then I also recognized not everybody had access to a Mary Grace like I did. So I realized very quickly that as I was growing my group and developing them into leaders, that there were a lot of other people who didn't have that, and they were at the mercy of who they were under. And so sometimes that's good, most often it's not. And to get access to the one person who might be a great leader in your upline, depending on how high above you they are, who knows, it's hard to get that. So I become the upline that everybody wishes they had.
And the adjunct to the upline, because the upline will teach you certain things and develop you in certain ways. Only
Mhm.
there's always another layer and piece to that, and that's what you bring to the table.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because my client success is my only focus. If my clients are not successful, I don't succeed either.
Yeah, powerful,
Right. So
powerful.
I, I, I get paid whether they do the thing or not. Right. But if I don't find the way to coach them to success, if I don't find the way to hold them accountable in a way that works so that they get things done, then eventually they stop being my client. I stop getting paid. I stop being successful. So their success is my focus. That is my whole job, is to make sure that each and every one of my clients is successful. And that's how I retain clients for 3, 4, 5 years now,
Yep.
that stay with me because I figure it out with them and I
That's
customize
so key,
to them.
is that you lock arms with them and you help them like go the distance. And when you're looking for a coach out there, for anyone that's looking for a coach in any arena,
Right.
look at their track record, look at what they're doing. And when they've got clients that stay with them, most coaching programs, 3 to 9 months. That's most out
Yeah.
there. And so
Yeah.
when you find someone like Jennie who has clients for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, that's something to pay attention to, because that is the gold standard.
Yeah.
That is when you know the coach is doing the thing that they say they do, because the people come in and they stay year after year.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I
That's so
appreciate that.
great. It is, because that's the gold standard. And so many people, when they're looking, they don't register that until after they make all the mistakes on who they hire. And then
Right.
they go,
Oh.
oh, that's what I need to pay attention to.
And one of the other things that I also tell people to look for when they're looking for a coach is ask that coach who their coach is.
Oh, very cool.
Because if that coach does not have at least one coach, run,
Yes.
run. Don't walk away from that coach. Run away, because they they are not investing in themselves.
Right.
They are not working on themselves and their business to make sure that they are the best possible coach for you, because a coach cannot coach themselves, just like a counselor cannot counsel themselves. A therapist cannot
Right.
therapize. I don't think that's a word, but I'm going to make it one. A therapist cannot therapize themselves. They need a
Perfect.
therapist. A coach needs a coach. And the best coaches recognize that they need a coach for different areas of their life and business. So at any given time, I've got 2, 3, or 4 coaches in my life, in my business, helping me see the different areas, because they have their specific expertise that they help me with, and then I have somebody else who's working with me on this other different area. So I'm taking all of that coaching and knowledge for myself and pouring it into my clients.
Yeah. Yeah, so powerful that we're constantly growing,
Mhm.
and that always is a factor, because if you're not growing, they're going to surpass you, and they won't be able to stay for those 3, 4, 5 years, because they'll
Exactly.
surpass what you're able to deliver to them. When you're constantly growing, so are they, and
Yeah.
it's an ongoing component. Yeah, I'm a product of the product,
Right.
and I had coaches that developed everything I have in my world right now. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about it, because it's really interesting to me, when I have conversations with some of like the top leaders in direct sales, and they're like, "Oh, well, I don't need a coach. I'm at the top of my game.
Right.
I'm at the top of my company. I'm at the whatever." And I'm sitting there going, do you think gold medal athletes don't have a coach? Do you think that there's no possible way to get any better? If you believe that, if you think you are absolutely perfection, then yeah, you don't need a coach.
And the challenge is the world keeps changing, and everything around you changes, and you're in trouble, because what is not growing will die.
Yes, absolutely. And it's really interesting when they finally get it, when they finally see, "Oh, yeah. Oh, I hadn't thought about that." You
Tiger
know?
Woods, Michael Jordan, all the greats of the greats in every industry has coaches, and when you talk to the top CEOs in the world, they all have their peeps that they go to. They all have their coaches and their advisors. And
Oh,
when
yeah.
you don't, you're just fooling yourself,
Right.
and you
And
don't
I think
create sustainability.
this plays back to what you brought up before, right? Some of these top level leaders think that they can't hire an outside coach because they're telling everybody that they're telling everyone on their team that they don't need to go to someone else. So
Right.
now if they go and hire a coach, now they're not in alignment with what they're teaching and telling their
Oh,
downline. So it's an interesting thing to watch when they realize this, and seeing who's willing to shift and say, "You know what? I was wrong. I hired a coach. You guys should all think about getting one too."
yeah. I got to assume that your clients bring their team to your doorstep.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. My
that's
clients
the
are
smart thing to do.
they're my best referral partners. And I'm also incredibly intelligent and have figured this out, because depending on which coaching program my clients sign up with me, I also will go in at no additional charge to my client and train their team for them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's one of the perks that you offer, which is incredible.
yeah, I mean, we all know, anybody who has watched me train knows that this is my superpower, to help people understand and see something differently. So that my client who's been doing their team trainings for 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 years now, they feel like they've said the same thing 1,700 times, and they're only 25% of their team gets it. Well, you know why that is? Because you only know how to speak within your own personality behavioral style. So if you're a high I, you only know how to speak to high I's. If you're a high D, you only know how to speak to D's. And those are only 8% of the population. So you're getting very little through to everybody else.
Right.
So when you've got a trainer who can come in and say something and they say it 4 different ways to make sure that they hit every behavioral style in the disc, because that's my favorite, because behaviors change, personalities don't. Um, and so I come in and train their team such that they get like 85 to 90% of their people walk away and actually do something because they finally freaking get it.
Yes. Yes. Leaning into those tools and those strategies so that you know how to approach behaviorally. So powerful. Great stuff. I want to ask you and unwind, go back to the ADHD component and neural divergence. We can reference it as
Yeah.
how is that a superpower? How, because so many people look at it as, oh my gosh, I've got this albatross around my neck, and yet
Yeah.
it could be, and what you and I both use it as is, hey, this is working for us, not against us. Explain
Yeah,
what
no,
that looks like.
absolutely. And I totally understand because for 40 years I also thought that it was this negative thing in my life and allowed it to hold me back and use it as an excuse. And a few years ago, I started recognizing, you know what? I am massively successful because of my neurodivergence,
Yes.
not in spite of it.
Good.
The great thing about people who are neurodivergent is because our brains do tend to work faster. So it's not just hyperactivity of the body, but hyperactivity of the brain. We see connections faster than other people. We are willing to pivot faster than other people. Our way of thinking changes faster than other people. So these are all benefits when used properly. When you've got someone who can guide you through that process and take you through that in such a way so that you're not doing the ooh shiny thing too much, because that's where that becomes the kryptonite, right? When you're chasing too many ooh shinies and you don't have someone going, okay, wait, is that really the path you're going down, or is this a new shiny?
Right.
Is this
And
a
when you're
distraction?
and when you're promoting yourself in direct sales, that's the Achilles heel, is you don't want to be perceived as that person that's just jumping. You want to be
Yeah,
perceived as the person that has direction and focus. Only your direction and focus shows up in a dynamic way. And how do
right.
you present that? How do you manage that? And that's so much of what you work with your clients on, to really show up in the best way possible.
Absolutely. And it's super interesting because it's not uncommon in the world of direct sales and network marketing for people to jump company after company after company because they go, "Oh, that didn't work, so it must be the company or the product or the team I was on." And so they jump to this other thing. And what they don't often see is the commonality in it not working was them, and they didn't know what they didn't know, right? And I'm not saying that it doesn't work. It absolutely can work. They just need to have the right guidance when they find the passion. It's so interesting. You and I were on the marketers cruise with Jordan Adler. And if you
Yes.
know Jordan Adler's story, you know he was with 11 different direct sales companies before
Amazing.
he found success, before he
Yes.
figured it out. So if you want to read his whole thing, Beach Money. He tells the story in Beach Money. But sometimes it's getting through that and finally getting, oh, click, boom, something finally clicks into place. They get the system, they get the process, they get the support, they do the thing, they do the work because they're getting the dopamine hit because they're getting results. So they keep doing it because they're getting the next dopamine hit. And then here you are, successful, whatever definition that is for the person. Because I'm not all of my clients want to be number one in their company, but they also don't want to not walk the stage.
Right. And so it's okay to go to the next level without being the ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's so funny because when people ask me, can you share a story of client success? Well, one of my most successful long term clients spoke at her company's national convention last year. That was never her goal. she didn't have a goal of wanting to speak on stage. But because she was so consistent, persistent, did the things she needed to do, pivoted when she needed to pivot, worked through everything. And not to say her business was perfect. There were times when she had to step back because she had to take care of family, take care of health, take care of different things going on. But over time, the CEO of her company recognized what was going on and said, "You should speak at our company stage." And he gave her 10 minutes. And at the end of the 10 minutes, when she walked off stage, he goes, "I wish I would have given you 30."
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's amazing. And to you help people grow into their power and grow into their superpower.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
my goal.
such a valuable tool and such a valuable piece, and more people need to grab hold of what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
No question. No
Thank you.
question. For
Your lips to the universe's ears, right?
There you go. For everyone, we've got people listening from coast to coast and around the world. This is Podcast City.
Yeah.
To all of our people in the Maverick universe, last words of advice.
Ooh. Well, I'll go with my tagline, right? Because everybody seems to really like it a lot, and that is, don't half-ass anything, badass everything.
Oh, and you and I believe in that. We call it the Maverick way, baby. Absolutely badass everything. Jennie, where can they find you? They love you. They want you. They gotta grab a hold of you. All that plays within your branding. Let's what? Where can they find you?
Badassdirectsalesmastery.com is it's got the podcast. It has all the things. They can connect with all of my socials through my website. I love making new friends on Facebook and LinkedIn, so please feel free to connect with me and say that you heard me on Paul's podcast and tell me how you're a Maverick and that you do it different. And we're going to connect and we're going to have a conversation. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Absolutely, Jennie Bellinger, badass direct sales mastery. Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure talking to you. As always, you'll be seeing us doing a lot of different things together over the next few years, even. And great hanging out with you today. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. I love talking with you, Paul. I would talk with you anytime.
I appreciate that. For all of you out there, exactly what Jennie said, reach out. We love to connect. Reach out on Facebook and Instagram and every place that you see us. Reach out and we'll connect on a personal level. For this podcast, absolutely follow and share. And please, please, please give a review. We are looking for all of our reviews, all the people out there that love this. Let us know in the reviews. We would love for that as well. Thank you so much. We are tapping in and creating a community, the Maverick universe, where we serve people in telling them how the world can work differently to create different results for you, me, and the whole world. The Mavericks Do It Different podcast. Be listening to next week's episode of Mavericks Do It Different podcast. Be looking for that. Really appreciate your time that you spent here. Go ahead and share, like I said, and let's keep the Maverick universe expanding and growing every step of the way. Be sure to tap in with me. This is Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire. This is Mavericks Do It Different podcast. Till next time, everyone.
Thanks for being here today. As our gift to you, be sure to go to themaverickuniverse.com where you can download your free copy of the Maverick Manifesto. Until next time, dare to be different. Dare to be a Maverick.